with staff and invited guests. The board encourages members of the public to attend work sessions and listen to the discussion, but there's generally no opportunity for public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the board are welcome to do so during the board's regularly scheduled meetings held twice monthly. So 2 items on our agenda. We have the agenda review, and then we have the legislative update. Lots happening. So we'll start with the agenda review. Do we have any comments, questions? Nope. Okay. And we'll move right into the legislative update. County Manager, do you want to kick this off?
Sure, Chair Quila, members of the board. As was mentioned, there's a lot going on right now. And some of the, primary bills that the county's been working towards are starting to get hearings. And so I'll let Amanda kind of kick off where we are and talking about TLT and the HOA being 2 of the primary bills. So Amanda.
Thank you, County Manager, Chair, members of the board. Just a housekeeping item, or not really housekeeping item, but just a general reminder. This Friday is the deadline for scheduling a bill's first work session. So if the bill is not scheduled for a work session, it doesn't have to be a Friday work session, but it can be just anywhere in the calendar. If it doesn't get scheduled, and it's not in a revenue committee, rules committee, or joint committee, which don't have to adhere to that deadline, that bill effectively dies. So we're hoping that this absorbent amount of bills, that list will kind of decrease significantly come Friday. And none of those will be our bills. And so what we're hoping for. So just a quick update on the TLT bill, which is HB 3556. There is a public hearing tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and Chair Quayla will be attending in Salem to provide in-person testimony. Currently, this bill is assigned to the House Committee on Emergency Management, General Government, and Veterans, but we are requesting it be moved to the House Committee on Revenue with that recommendation. Since this bill already has a subsequent referral to the House Committee on Revenue, we think that it makes more sense to hold the full discussion there rather than repeat it in 2 committees. And also that committee doesn't have to adhere to that work session deadline. So that just provides a little bit more time because it will be a lot of stakeholders that'll be interested in providing comment. So that's going to be the main thing that we're encouraging, and we're going to be encouraging other stakeholders to recommend. And so county staff are finalizing a draft letter for your board that we'll be sending out soon for your review. We've also reached out to the cities, their law enforcement agencies, and all 11 local fire agencies, inviting them to submit written testimony for the public hearing, and shared some template letters. So as of 10 a.m. this morning, there are 79 written testimony submissions online, and only 11 of them are in support and 68 are in opposition. So I just kind of want to highlight that just as how important it is that we're encouraging other stakeholders to submit written comment. Right now, the support letters online show that they're from LOC, Tillamook County Fire Departments and Districts, and the cities of Seaside, Nehalem, Lincoln City, Yachats, Coburg, McMinnville, Halfway, and North Bend. So if there's any other agencies, local governments, community partners that you think would be beneficial for us to reach out to and or provide a template letter, if that would be helpful, just let us know, because we really want to kind of communicate how important it is that written testimony is submitted.
Commissioner Bangs?
I assume we've reached out to our local fire departments, have we not?
Yeah, we provided them a template letter to all 11.
Okay, so we just need to push them to actually submit.
Which I am happy to assist with that. So if they have any, if it would just be easier for them to send, for any of the stakeholders to send me their completed letter, OLIS allows people to submit on their behalf. So I'm happy to do that.
Okay, I'll try from my side. Thanks.
And if I could, Chair Quillen, members of the board, we did have a meeting with the city managers yesterday, and so we let them know that all this was also happening. So at least with the city, fire districts, police, that's all kind of wired at this point. But for the rural fire agencies, we did send out the note with the template, and hopefully they will either do it or we'll happy to submit it on their behalf. So.
Any other questions about the TLT bill?
I really appreciate the sheriff's, input on this and certainly the work of you, Amanda, and CFM advocates. And I am also wanting to thank Representative Javity and Senator Weber, who have been very good to push this and work with us. And yeah, we just need more public comment. That's heavily swayed in the favor in opposition. So the more the better. And I did hear from Chair Scar and she's been sending it out, to get others to provide testimony, putting out the call for folks. So that's good. Okay, are we ready to move on? Yeah.
Okay, perfect. The other bill, which I recently sent you an email about, HB 3545-1, and that is the HOA bill or HOA fees bill that the county has been working on. That had a public hearing on Monday, and Assistant County Manager Monica Steele, County Counsel, Anthony Pope, and Heidi Tandy, our Assessment and Taxation Director, provided remote expert testimony, which was really helpful. The public hearing went really well, and we're continuing to engage in conversation with especially those that might be opposed to the bill to see if we can come up with a solution that kind of works for counties and HOAs. And I just want to highlight that CFM is hopeful that we'll be able to get a work session on the calendar, so then that one will meet the work session deadline. And I sent your board a letter for review. I think there's only maybe one or two commissioners I'm waiting to hear back from. So if you can just let me know if you've yet to approve, if you have any edits, or if that letter is good to go. I do need to submit that by 1 o'clock is our deadline for today. So just after this meeting, if you can either shoot me a text or email, that would be great. Does anybody have any questions about that bill?
And I did hear yesterday that Monica and Anthony were very effective in their testimony, and sounds like made a really good case, and there wasn't a real effort to push back because of how good you guys were. So thanks again for your great testimony.
Another bill, just wanting to highlight, HB 2056. This has to do with funding that would be provided for community mental health providers, CMHPs, and it's specific to aid and assist, civil commitment, and I think behavioral health crisis intervention services. And so that public hearing was yesterday. I'm going to see if I can put a letter together in time today, so then that way we can meet the deadline for tomorrow. So hopefully I'll send that out to you soon if I can get that in time. And that we've gotten some feedback from CBH as well that we'll include in the letter to provide for a letter of support. Another bill, HB 5004, and that one has to do with the Department of Corrections budget, which right now there was an analysis that had been completed about adequate funding. It was a let me see, sorry, a revised community corrections allocation formula that accurately reflects the costs incurred by counties and fully funds local services. And so that amount is included in that bill. So we are continuing to track that. I think there was a public hearing on last week on Thursday. And so we'll keep you updated for movement on the bill because that is really important for us. And I know one of the items that's mentioned in our legislative agenda. And I did want to note HB 2693, which is the levy funds, grant funds bill that your board provided a letter of support on, had a work session, and that one passed and was referred to a Ways and Means Committee. So that one is continuing to move forward. And then
Amanda, on that one, I did get a request. They have a companion or advocacy bill in the Senate, SB 713. So they were actually looking for another letter of support for that levy grant fund. So I just forwarded you what I received. This is from the Urban Flood Safety Oregon.gov that had sent this out.
okay.
Both to Mayor Balanceifer and myself. So I forwarded that to you, and I don't think be any problem in us, just updating the letter we already submitted and sending it to the Senate.
Perfect. And then last, I just have HB 5006, which is the state budget bill. They are doing a few in-person meetings throughout the state. And so one of them is here locally in Astoria at the Liberty Theater. And that it's a community public hearing on Friday, March 28th. And that'll be from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Liberty Theater. So I'll be attending to listen in. And we'll let you know if there's anything in particular. I just wanted to communicate that in case any of you are wanting to be a part of that or know community partners that were wanting to attend. Does anybody have any questions about those bills or any other bills?
Commissioner Banks?
So I've heard some burblings that they are looking to cut CTE funding for our school districts. So if we could look around and see where that conversation is occurring and advocate for our career technical education entities here at our local school districts, that would be great. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Any additional bills that we should be putting on our radar? Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got an email from Tongue Point Job Corps stuff. That's on a federal level. I don't know what we can do there, but they asked for our support, and I hope we can offer that.
Yes, agreed. Thanks, Commissioner Thompson. Any other questions? Again, really appreciate the work of Amanda, our leadership team and the administration, and also the CFM advocates have been doing a great job on our behalf. So lots going on, and kind of it sounds like it'll be kind of weeded out this by the weekend, and we'll really know what we're dealing with for the rest of the session.
Yeah. And also, Don, I didn't know if you wanted to mention anything about template letters.
Sure. So as you can imagine, we've been getting a lot of requests from folks to support different bills, different initiatives, and part of what we, and even grants, and part of what I have been telling folks is if you can give us a template, an actual written template for that, that will help us facilitate getting those requests fulfilled. If we have to write them ourselves from scratch, it just doesn't work very well because we're obviously very busy. And so just as your board maybe interfaces with folks that have these requests, the more they can provide in terms of that background would be really helpful for us to meet their requests. We can always make them very personalized to Clatsop County, but starting from zero is really hard. So we just wanted to share that. So as you get requests, if you could just help them, help us, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, Good point. Completely agree. Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Webb?
Yeah, it might be helpful, Amanda, if on the CTE issue especially, if you would contact the Northwest Oregon Works folks, because I'm sure that they're following this as well. And so it would be really nice if we could coordinate whatever we can do with them. They're usually pretty active on legislative issues. So call Heather at Heather Dessart, who is the executive, and see what they're doing. Because I'm sure that all of the workforce boards are very interested in this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Webb. Do we have any other comments or questions? Again, good work, Amanda. Thanks again. And as things populate our inbox, make sure that we're responding back and giving approvals or declines on letters of support, because now is the time, and it's really crucial to get these submitted before the hearing, or I guess we have 2 days after a hearing in order to submit it, correct? So
Yeah,
timeliness is
it's
important.
48 hours from the when the public hearing starts.
Yeah. Okay, County Manager?
Chair Quila, members of the board, is it okay if I just give just a couple other updates real quick, if that would be okay?
Yes.
So the first is that coming off of the discussion regarding request for the board's support of sometimes grant applications. We did hear from Columbia Land Trust recently. As you know, Bradwood Landing out towards Westport is an industrial zone property that for the last 40 years has been the subject of a lot of different ideas regarding industrial development. It included Great Wolf Lodge at one point, I think, and then LNG, and then there was a grain topping facility, I think, at some point. But, I think part of the story of Bradwood Landing is for 40 years, it has not been developed. And there's some really legitimate reasons why, including infrastructure issues, regulations, as well as, transportation issues. And there's just a whole myriad of things. And so this property has been in private ownership with the same owner for the last 40 years. That owner has not been able to move any of these initiatives forward. They're now having discussions with Columbia Land Trust regarding a purchase of the property. And then they would do habitat remediation, and so, for those of who have seen this site, it's a very unique site, but they're having conversations for a different vision for that site. So on Friday, I'll be sending that out. So if you look at the update on Friday, there'll be a draft letter and a little bit more background, but they have gotten to the point where the current owner is in negotiations with Columbia Land Trust. So I just wanted to share that with your board and let you know that there's a letter that will be in there just as background information, and then I'll follow up with your board members. The other is that I did want to share that Gail and I will be meeting with HIAC to go over some of the dredging challenges. As you know, the dredging spoil sites are part of our comprehensive plan, and we're actually going through a process now to add some additional sites with the Corps. We're just going to go down there and just help them understand how that process works and what is available, what's been approved, and what may be approved in terms of these upland and in-water sites, just to help them frame what their options are as they go into the permitting process with the Corps. So we're still trying to help them move that project forward also. And then the only other thing is the budget. We're still working on the budget, so there'll be more to come on that. So, and that's all I have, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, County Manager. Do we have any questions for County Manager? Well, appreciate all you're doing, Dawn, and the entire team. This is a busy time of year, and I appreciate the teamwork. Absolutely. We don't have any other questions or comments. It looks like we are done with our agenda today, so we can go ahead and adjourn. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. Thanks again, everyone.